2023 have been in full swing this year. We've had so many exciting and entertaining games that have come down to the last minute, especially in that first round. But here in the second round, we've got some super entertaining matchups, some really historically good matchups, and players that we've seen go head-to-head many times are doing it once again this time around. And I think there's some really interesting contests in the second round of the playoffs. So we're going to be doing my predictions for each of the 4 games for the second round. But let's take a look at the playoff bracket so far. At this point, if you take a look, you have the number 1 Nuggets taking on number 4 Suns. The number 6 Warriors, who beat the Kings in 7 games, will take on the Lakers, who beat the Grizzlies in 6. You have the Celtics, who beat the Hawks in 6. You have the Sixers, who swept the Nets. And you have the Knicks, who really ended up destroying the Cavs. And you have the Heat, who had pulled off really one of the biggest upsets we've seen in NBA playoff history in some time. As a number 8 seed, they beat the number 1 team in the league. So we're going to be starting off with the most entertaining, the most interesting, the most watched matchup in these playoffs so far is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers, the number 7 seed, taking on the number 6 seed defending champions Golden State Warriors. We have LeBron versus Steph once again for the 5th time. We always know that the Golden State Warriors, with Kevin Durant, they beat LeBron in back-to-back seasons. And then Golden State won for the first time in 2015. And then LeBron and the Cavs, with Kyrie, had that historic, the greatest comeback of all time, with 3-1 comeback in NBA Finals. So it's obviously really exciting. Both of these teams made it here because of their experience. It doesn't really matter what their seeding was. At this point, you have these 2 stars, and in NBA, it just comes down to who stars do you have on your team. And the Lakers just took care of the Grizzlies. They were the 2 seed. It didn't matter. They were being so immature. Of course, with the story with Dylan Brooks, he can go enjoy himself with the Shanghai Sharks up in China. But here they are facing the defending champions. Took care of the Kings in 7. That was an incredible series. The Kings gave them everything they got. But the Warriors are the Warriors, and they found a way to put them away. Lakers took game 1 on the road, highly impressive. Made a statement thanks to Anthony Davis, put up a masterpiece. 30 points, 23 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Defensively for AD, it was very good to see. But he's been very inconsistent. But if the Lakers can get the best out of AD, they're going to win the series. I really like Austin Reeves shooting-wise and just doing his thing offensively. 16 points per game in the playoffs. And Jared Vanderbilt, he did a great job on Steph Curry in game 1. Defensively, LeBron doing his thing. Of course, the double-double, 22 points, 11 rebounds. He's been averaging that throughout the playoffs. Steph's going to do his thing. We saw that 50-point masterpiece, that historical performance in Game 7 to beat the Kings in the first round. But I think Klay Thompson has to be better overall. Jordan Poole's shot selection, of course, a terrible shot to take. Yes, he's open. He could have moved a couple of feet closer to the 3-point line and taken it. That would have been the better shot. They need better selection for Poole. I think Kevon Looney has to be better in this series. Because the Lakers have size. They do. Warriors have a lot of shooting, but the Lakers still won, even though they shot much worse than the Warriors. Now, for my series prediction, I'm going with the Lakers in 7 games. I just like them in this, winning it on the road in Golden State. Obviously familiar for Bron. I like the Lakers' size, like I mentioned, their shot blocking ability. They have some shooters. I'm sure they're going to improve their shooting throughout the series. Warriors, of course, can win. I'm not doubting them. Of course, they can take this series. But I think, the Lakers, they do get stagnant offensively. We saw the Warriors go on that, patented 14-0 run. I think Klay, can get hot at times. Obviously, we know how good he is. And, DiVincenzo, Andrew Wiggins, he's been a lot better. So Warriors can easily take this. I'm going with the Lakers. I just like them in this series, just winning it on the road. And now we have the series in the East, and number 8 Miami Heat, who beat the Bucks in 5 games thanks to Jimmy Buckets, taking on the number 5 New York Knicks, who advanced to the second round for the first time in forever. So this is pretty cool. This series is currently tied at 1 apiece, heading to Miami. I think it's an easy prediction for me. Jimmy Butler, I honestly don't know what else to say. I know he got hurt in game 2, but I think he might be back for game 3. We'll see. If not game 4, but he's just been so good leading his team right from the front. 42 points in that game 5 eliminator on the road against the Bucks. And that tied that game on a crazy shot to end regulation, and 56 points in game 4. Dude's been literally carrying this team on his back. 98 points in those 2 games combined. I like the Heat's ability to get it done in the clutch. The Knicks don't have that guy. That guy that you go to with everything on the line. They don't have that guy. And the Heat do, and that's Jimmy Butler. I love what I'm seeing from Jalen Brunson, but he's not that guy. The Heat have a lot of great players who chip in, guys who have experience. Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, Adebayo is pretty consistent. Gabe Vincent steps up. You see Strus, Caleb Martin, they make some shots. Brunson, he had 30 points in game 2, 25 points per game in the playoffs is great, but the Heat just have the X factor. I think Josh Hart's been solid for the Knicks. You get Julius Randle back, who had 25 points in game 2. The Heat just have that it factor, and that's why I'm taking them in 6 games. Now we have a super interesting series in the East. The most interesting series in the East between the number 3 seeded 76ers from Philly and the number 2 seeded Boston Celtics, which is currently tied at 1. James Harden had a masterclass performance, arguably his best performance in the playoffs, 45 points and the game winner to beat the Celtics without MVP Joel Embiid. Congrats to Embiid winning his first MVP. But then they got destroyed with Embiid in game 2, which doesn't really add up, but whatever. They lost by more than 30 points, but Sixers got the job done. They just needed to take 1, and they did it. But they're gonna have to take care of business at home. I like Harden here as an elite scorer. He's really good in the first 4 games of a series in general. Also with Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, I just love the scores that they got. Maxey, big shout out to him. He's made incredible shots. Jason Tatum is good. I think both him and JB are a bit inconsistent in their shooting. I really like the Celtics' depth, though. I'll give them credit there. Way more depth than the Sixers. Malcolm Brogdon, 6th man of the year, 23 points in game 2. Grant Williams, Robert Williams, both pretty solid there. You add in Derek White, I think he was chipping in. But I just like the scores on the Sixers. Add in Tobias Harris as well. PJ Tucker, Junkyard Dog. The weak bench, is a lot, but I just love the starting lineup of the Sixers. James Harden, I think he's going to step up. Obviously, 33 points, 10 rebounds. Joel Embiid MVP. I think he's going to show up later on as the series goes on, taking the 76ers in 7 games on the road. Final series in the West, star-filled series, number 1 Nuggets from Denver taking on the Phoenix Suns from the Valley, the number 4 seed. Nuggets, they take care of Minnesota in 5 games. Suns took care of the Clippers, who were injury-riddled, in 5 games. Nuggets just absolutely dominating so far. Have the 2-0 lead, winning both their home games, heading into the Valley. 97-87 game 2, 125-107 game 1. Jamal Murray unstoppable in game 1, 34 points. Jokic put in his MVP-like performance, 39 points, 16 rebounds in game 2. But the big news is that Chris Paul, CP3, once again has an injury and he's going to miss time. Those injuries always pop up at the worst time for Chris Paul. Another hamstring, I believe. Devin Booker has been really good scoring. Kevin Durant has been consistent, but I think too much is on these 2 guys at this point. I do feel they can pick it up. Those are, that's how good they are, but they need way more from the bench. I think the Suns have a good bench. You bring in Campaign, you need more from Damian Lee, way more. Torrey Craig is good. Aiden is going to have to step up in the paint, both sides. Nuggets, really, they don't even have much bench either. But, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP, Kevin Porter. What's his name? Okay, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. I think those 3 has been really good as role players. You can bring in Shamet if you're the Suns. Bring in all that depth that you got. Wainwright, Okogie, use all those guys and try and get some balance if you're the Suns. But I picked the Suns before the first round, and I'm just gonna stick with them again, until they lose, because I did pick them in the first round, to go all the way. But honestly, I do think the Nuggets will take this in 6, but I am going with the Suns in 7. If they are gonna win, they'll do it in 7. I think KD will step up. The others will need to as well. And for my finals prediction, I am going with the 76ers to make it out of the East at this point. Really like what they got. I think it's going to be too much for Butler once he moves on from the Knicks. And yeah, you know, this is my finals pick. I am going with the Suns just like I picked before until they lose. But realistically, if I were to pick a team, I would go, you know, with the Sixers at this point. So we'll see what happens. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next one.